Warhammer 40,000's most noble, most tragic, and perhaps most terrifying space marines are here. Angelic warriors clad in gold, masters of art, poetry, and war. Yet beneath that perfection lurks an ancient hunger, a curse that drives them toward madness, bloodshed, and monstrosity. These are the Blood Angels. So prepare your tea, your coffee, or perhaps a goblet of blood wine served within the halls of Baal itself. Tonight, we descend into the dark and glorious history of the 9th Legion. The Blood Angels were not always noble. During the Unification Wars on Terra, they were known only as the 9th Legion, and they were feared even by their allies. They were called the Revenant Legion, the Eaters of the Dead, and those names were earned. After battle, the warriors of the 9th Legion consumed the flesh of the slain and drank their blood, absorbing fragments of memory, knowledge, and combat instinct through the terrifying power of the homophagia gene seed. Where other legions recruited from noble bloodlines and aristocratic dynasties, the 9th Legion took the broken, the mutated, and the unwanted, the monsters abandoned beneath Terra's dying cities. Yet through gene forging and transhuman ascension, those wretches became beings of terrifying beauty. Even isolated behind enemy lines, they survived through cannibalism and by recruiting the children of defeated enemies into their ranks. They were not heroes. They were predators. But everything changed with the coming of their Primarch. When the Chaos Gods scattered the infant Primarchs across the galaxy, the genetic father of the 9th Legion fell upon Baal Secundus, a radioactive wasteland poisoned by ancient nuclear fire. And there, among the ruins of a dying world, an angel was born, Sanguinius. Unlike any Primarch before or since, Sanguinius possessed enormous white wings stretching from his back. Whether these wings were part of the Emperor's original design or a mutation born from Baal's radiation remains one of the greatest mysteries in Imperial history. The tribes of Baal saw him not as a man, but as a divine being, a protector, a savior, a god. And when the Emperor finally arrived to reclaim his lost son, Sanguinius willingly knelt before him. Soon after, he was brought before his legion, the blood-soaked horrors known throughout the Imperium as the Eaters of the Dead. But Sanguinius did not recoil. He did not condemn them. Instead, he knelt before them and offered them his loyalty. That single act shattered the Legion's brutal nature more completely than any punishment ever could. For the first time, the monsters of the 9th Legion felt human. And from that day onward, they became the Blood Angels. Sanguinius transformed his legion utterly. He taught them philosophy, art, poetry, sculpture, honor. He believed beauty and culture could chain the beast lurking within their souls. And for a time, he was right. The Blood Angels became one of the most admired legions of the Great Crusade, radiant warriors whose nobility rivaled even their brutality. But perfection in Warhammer 40,000 never lasts, and the nightmare truly began during the Horus Heresy. War Master Horus understood one thing clearly: Sanguinius would never betray the Emperor willingly. But Horus had discovered the Legion's darkest secret: the thirst. The hunger buried deep within Blood Angel gene seed. So he lured them to the Signus system with promises of a cure. It was a trap, a world consumed by chaos, a slaughterhouse prepared for angels. At Signus Prime, Sanguinius faced Kabanda, one of Khorne's greatest demon champions. The battle was apocalyptic. Kabanda shattered Sanguinius's legs and slaughtered hundreds of Blood Angels in moments. And then, something inside the Legion broke. The psychic shockwave created by the agony and deaths of Sanguinius's sons unleashed a curse never before seen: the Black Rage. The noble Blood Angels descended into uncontrollable madness, tearing demons apart with their bare hands like savage animals drenched in bloodlust. Although Sanguinius ultimately defeated Kabanda and cast him back into the warp, the damage was done. The wound inflicted upon the Legion that day would never heal. Then came Terra, the final battle for humanity itself. Sanguinius knew he would die. He foresaw it. Yet he boarded Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit, regardless. Not to survive, but to weaken Horus before the Emperor arrived. Exhausted from endless war and wounded beyond mortal endurance, Sanguinius confronted his corrupted brother alone. And Horus murdered him, brutally, mercilessly. Empowered fully by the Chaos Gods, Horus unleashed such overwhelming psychic violence upon Sanguinius that the Primarch's final agony echoed permanently through the Blood Angel's gene seed. And from that moment onward, every Blood Angel inherited two terrible curses. The first is the Red Thirst, an uncontrollable craving for blood and flesh. When it awakens, their fangs extend, and reason begins to fade beneath overwhelming predatory instinct. The second curse is far worse: the Black Rage. When a Blood Angel falls to the Black Rage, reality itself collapses around him. He no longer sees the present. Instead, he relives the final moments of the Siege of Terra through the eyes of Sanguinius himself. Friends become traitors. Brothers become Horus. And the afflicted warrior descends into homicidal madness. There is no cure, only death. Those claimed by the Black Rage are inducted into the Death Company, warriors clad in black armor marked with blood-red crosses. Led into battle by chaplains such as Lamartes, they are unleashed as living weapons of suicidal fury. Their purpose is simple: die gloriously, kill endlessly, and perhaps find peace in death that they could never find in life. And should they somehow survive the battle, Astarath the Grim comes for them. The Blood Angels also possess some of the strongest vampire imagery in all of Warhammer 40,000. To become a true son of Sanguinius, An initiate must drink from the red Grail, a sacred vessel containing the blood of the Primarch himself. He is then sealed within a golden sarcophagus for an entire year while his transformation occurs. Even veteran blood angels sleep within coffin-like chambers to suppress their genetic hunger. Their aesthetics, rituals, and even their nobility are deeply rooted in Gothic vampire mythology. No figure embodies this better than Mephiston, chief librarian of the Blood Angels. Known as the Lord of Death, Mephiston is one of the only beings in history to resist and overcome the Black Rage through sheer force of will. Something many consider impossible. In the modern era of the 41st millennium, the Blood Angels are led by Commander Dante. More than 1,500 years old, Dante is the oldest living active space marine in the Imperium. Clad in golden armor and bearing the death mask of Sanguinius himself, he has become a living legend. Yet after centuries of endless war, Dante desires only one thing: rest. But the Imperium will never allow its greatest heroes to die peacefully. That truth became painfully clear during the Devastation of Baal. Hive Fleet Leviathan descended upon the Blood Angels' home system in numbers beyond comprehension. Dante gathered every successor chapter descended from Sanguinius for one final stand. The war was catastrophic. Entire chapters were annihilated. 5 chapter masters perished, and the Blood Angels stood upon the brink of extinction. Then reality itself split apart. A massive warp storm engulfed the galaxy, and in one of the darkest ironies in Warhammer history, Kabanda returned. Not to save the Blood Angels, but to slaughter the Tyranids personally, because he believed the right to destroy the sons of Sanguinius belonged to him alone. At the final hour, Robute Guilliman arrived with the Indomitus Crusade and the newly created Primaris Marines, dragging the Blood Angels back from oblivion. But their curse remained. It always will. The Blood Angels are perhaps the most tragic warriors in the entire Warhammer 40,000 universe. They are monsters desperately trying to become angels. Warriors who surround themselves with beauty, art, and nobility in an endless struggle against the darkness inside their own souls. Every single day, they resist the urge to become beasts. Every single day, they fight madness itself. And one day, for almost all of them, the darkness wins. What do you think of the Blood Angels and their terrible curse? Who is your favorite son of Sanguinius? Let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the grim darkness of the far future, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Until the next chronicle, see you in the darkness between the stars. The Emperor protects.